I'm going to wait till the clock ticks over to 7 o'clock. Give people an opportunity to log in, hopefully be on our YouTube channel. Well, it's great to see that we have at least one person on board coming through. We've gotten a few people coming on. So it is 7 o'clock. We are timely if we're not anything else. And we've almost gotten to double digits, which is something that we will be very excited about. I would like to welcome everybody to Nassau Flyers YouTube Live. As everyone can imagine, this has been an incredibly challenging time, but it has given us an opportunity to rethink pretty much everything that we do. This obviously is something that is brand new for us, and time will tell whether it was a good idea or not. We're hoping to get some feedback, whether it's positive, negative, or indifferent. We're probably going to find out, but we would really like to get your opinions about how this works. What do you think of what the future of this might be? Tonight, we're kind of hoping for a little bit of social interaction. We're going to hope to foster some conversation between our membership and also get as I said earlier, some sort of idea in terms of what people think of this new approach. This is obviously our first attempt at this, and what we're planning to do is to have an event weekly. We're planning on using different topics that are specifically relevant to Republic Airport and the area that we fly, and also the type of aircraft which we fly. Obviously the Cirrus, whether you're flying an SR-20, an SR-22, or perhaps you even maybe have some questions about the Vision Jet and the SF-50. So, so the first thing I'd like to do is to give you an update on our current situation. Many of you probably know, but in any case, Republic Airport is deemed essential in New York State and is open. I wouldn't necessarily say open for business, but it is open. The tower has been closed until until April 6th. And because of that, there are no touch and goes, no low approaches, so no flying upside down, whether you're flying closely or not. And unfortunately, no student traffic. We are still open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And looks like I'm getting some texts from people that are actually showing up, which is awesome. So we are open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. People can still rent airplanes if you've already been checked out with us. And of course, for the owners of airplanes, we are there with all of our personnel. We have put training on hold until we receive further guidance from New York State. We did apply for an exemption, and we're hoping to get one, but I would think that it's probably pretty far down on the list of important things to get to. Our maintenance department is operational. We're able to keep up with all the maintenance that needs to be done on airplanes. So if you are flying and there's an issue with the airplane, we're able to deal with that. And in addition, we'll be able to do routine maintenance on our airplanes. We do expect to keep everybody updated with new information as we receive it. So please be on the lookout for emails coming from us to keep you informed. So a couple of things, and I think people have actually gotten pretty good at this already. We're talking about using the YouTube Live. If you are unable to see chats, that probably means that you are not signed into a YouTube account. If you would like to make a comment, you either need to create an account. Basically, you should be able to log in with almost any user ID. And if you are watching and if you do not see any comments on the side, you may have the video on a full screen, you will need to go back to the YouTube page and see what it looks like. At that point, you should be able to look, see the stuff that's going on, see what people are talking about. So we do have some Nassau Fire staff on with us. So if you do have some questions, they should be able to answer them in the comments section. And from there, we should be, they should be good to go. Looks like people are starting to get the hang of this, so I really appreciate that. I can't really see, but I know that we had, at least I know Gina's on, Shannon, Becca. I saw that Ken Solosky is on, and I'm hoping Greg Whitpin is on also. Whoever else, I'm not quite positive, but we'll see as we go forward. So today is really is more of a test of how the system's going to work. I'm going to give people an opportunity to critique some of my flying. The good news is that I've had a lot of practice having people critiquing my flying, so at the end of it, we're going to figure it out. But I'm going to start this video. You should be able to hear a little bit of the audio. This is a trip that I recently took down to Knoxville. If any of our, I know at least one of our airplane owners is down there, is on with us, and I know that he's seen this this approach into Knoxville. We're coming in on runway 5 right, and it's amazing what, when you're in the plane by yourself, seems like it's happening at incredible, rapid speed. When you're watching it on video, it seems like it takes almost forever. When we get down to the end here, you're going to see that I get pretty close to the center line. If I was to grade this, I would I'd give myself a solid B, maybe a little higher, but we all try to critique ourselves pretty seriously. I do have one idiosyncrasy which I've learned about watching my own video landings, is that for whatever reason, after I do hit the center line, somehow or other I prefer to taxi off of the center line. So we can question my abilities to stay on the center line at another time, but I'm open to that critique. When you come into Knoxville, it's there's one super long runway, over 9,000 feet, and the good news about that is that it gives you a lot of opportunity to get ready and be prepared for your trip out. So we landed, we got off the runway. We're going to continue on into the Vision Center. I'm going to pause the video for 1 second. And the reason I'm going to do that is to talk about what's going to happen next. So at the end of this live feed, we're going to invite people to Google Meet for discussions and question and answers. That'll give us an opportunity to video chat. People will have the opportunity for real-time interaction. And just as a subtle reminder, we don't want any videos gone bad, but remember that when you log on, if you have your camera turned on, everybody will see what you're doing. If your mic is on and you got 20 dogs, we're all going to hear that also. So I'm going to just continue taxiing in. And at this point, I'm hoping that Becca would have added up the what would be the link to get to our Google Meet. And from there, what we're going to do is have everybody at the end of this follow through. I'm going to continue with this video here. So if you're watching or listening on a whether it be an iPhone or an Android, you're going to need to download the Google Meet from the App Store. You should be able to click on the link, and it looks like I've seen it just pop up now, so that's great. You're going to be able to click that link and join. If you want to speak, just don't forget to allow me to use your camera and microphone. If you don't want people to hear what's going on in the background, you can turn off your microphone, and if we may end up turning off the microphone if it gets a little bit too hectic. We're going to see how that goes, but I see Greg's given some advice there, so hopefully that'll be good for everybody. Again, we have the link moved in. So when we're on Google Meet, one of the things that I'd like to remind people is that if you keep the chat open on the top right on the screen, if you have questions, it might actually be easier. Looks like we're close to 30 people up. So rather than having everybody talk over each other, if you have a specific question or a comment, you can put that through there. So one of the things I'm going to do is stop the video for 1 second. And the three buildings that you see on the left are all part of those are the three hangars for the Vision Center down in Knoxville. The building that we actually did not get a picture of is the facility that houses the training for the Vision Jet, which includes the the full motion simulator and everything else. But as we taxi in, one of the things that I do want people to keep an eye on is to see, we have the opportunity to see a couple of the new colors live and in person for the 2020. I'm hoping that everybody sits there and looks at it, and let's see who the first person is to see the new color. There's two that I see, and if anybody knows the color, don't be afraid to shout it out and tell everybody about it. As far as using the settings on Google Meet, you'll see on the bottom, if you hover your mouse over the bottom, there's three vertical dots that will show up in the bottom right corner, and that will allow you to change the settings, turn on captions, and look at anything else that make any changes to the Google Meet situation that you may want to do. The last thing I want to do as we come up, and we're coming into the delivery center at Knoxville. We see some of the last new colors, and we have some of our friends from Cirrus who are escorting us in, Andrew and Brooke, with their best imitation of line people. Andrew actually knows what he's doing. My friend Brooke, not so much. For right now, I'm just going to tell you that the next couple of things that we're talking about is the next week we're going to do a New York City flight, talking about flying the New York City Hudson Corridor and with the frequencies and everything else. The third meetup that we're going to talk about Cloud Ahoy and suggestions on, and we're also going to look for suggestions about what you might want, and hopefully that'll take us into a new dimension, so to speak. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'll meet you over on Google Meet.